Hi, it's Dr. Molly Arnold again. Let's talk about emotional connection and how it changes the brain. First, however, I would need to remind you this video is for educational purpose only. It's not a substitute for professional counseling. So, emotional connection doesn't just feel good, it literally shapes the brain. When we experience safe, supportive relationships, several brain systems change over time. First, connection calms the threat system. When you feel emotionally connected to someone you trust, activity of the brain's threat detection networks, including the amygdala, they decrease. The brain interprets connection as a signal that I'm not alone and I am safe. This can lead to lower stress and hormone levels. For example, cortisol. It can lead to reduced hypervigilance, that feeling that you get of constantly being alert or on your toes, or possibly better emotional regulation, or how to manage your feelings so they don't manage you. And finally, it can lead to improved resilience during difficult experiences so you can bounce back easier and more quickly. Number 2, emotional connection strengthens the prefrontal cortex. Healthy relationships activate and strengthen the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is involved in emotional control, perspective taking, empathy, decision making, emotional regulation. In essence, supportive relationships help us borrow another person's regulated nervous system until our own becomes online and becomes more regulated. Number 3, connection rewires neural pathways through neuroplasticity. Repeated experiences being understood, being accepted, and responded to create new neural pathways. For example, if someone grew up with expecting rejection, they may gradually develop a new expectation of safety if they experience consistent experience of validation, reliability, emotional attunement, and repair after conflict. Over time, the brain learns that connection is safe. This is one reason that emotionally corrective experiences can be so powerful in therapy and in close relationships. Number 4, connection increases oxytocin and bonding. Positive connection releases oxytocin. Sometimes it's called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is related to trust, it's related to social bonding, reduced anxiety, increased empathy, and lower stress responses. Physical affection, eye contact, warm tone of voice, and responsive caregiving can all contribute to oxytocin release. When that release increases, a person's brain feels calmer and safer. Number 5, emotional connection shapes attachment networks. Our brains develop internal models of relationships based on repeated relational experiences. Secure relationships help build the expectation that others are available when they're needed. It builds an expectation that emotions are manageable and that conflict can be repaired. And finally, that vulnerability is safe. These expectations become encoded in neural networks and influence the future relationships. In other words, our brains are learning that certain people are safer than others. That security is more likely to be maintained and will grow. Number 6, connection supports integration of different brain regions. Drawing from the work of Daniel Siegel, emotionally attuned relationships promote integration between different parts of the brain. The thinking and feeling parts, the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and the higher reasoning and lower survival systems. When the brain is integrated, people tend to experience greater flexibility, better emotional balance, more coherent self-awareness, and healthier relationships. Let's integrate all of this into relationship neuroscience perspective. One of the most important findings from neuroscience is that the brain is fundamentally social. Humans are not designed to regulate entirely alone. Safe emotional connection helps organize the nervous system. It helps regulate emotions, and it helps reshape the neural pathways throughout life. A simple way to describe it and summarize that is the brain changes the direction of relationships. It experiences the relationship that it experiences repeatedly. This is why concepts such as safety, co-regulation, attachment, validation, and repair are so central to the neuroscience of relationships. They're just not psychological experiences; they're biological experience that's biological that shape the brain. I hope all this information is helpful. If so, please subscribe to my channel or share this video. Have a great week.